$500 up to $1,200 guaranteed basic income, otherwise known as monthly checks. I have all the details and exactly what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I want to discuss a form of monthly checks, also known as guaranteed basic income, which is gaining a ton of popularity and traction all across the country, and there's already support for checks in the amount of $500 all the way up to $1,200 every single month for the low income. So let's get into it and talk about all the details of guaranteed basic income. What is this and everything you need to know about it, because these payments are the best of all the world. So let's get right into it and discuss the details. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so. And because I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side every single day, watching all this new information hitting the wire. I'm doing all the necessary research and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay updated with what's actually going on, and most importantly, what's out there for you as a low income or fixed income beneficiary, including money, benefits, raises to benefits, checks, programs, stimulus, or anything else popping up right now like monthly checks or guaranteed basic income, as well as so many other things that are happening right now. It's a very busy time, and I'm here for you every single day, no matter what, right by your side to help you out in any way that I possibly can. So again, please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and I'll be here for you every single day. That's my dedication, that's my promise, and as always, I'm sticking to it. All right, thanks again. Let's get into it and talk about guaranteed basic income, otherwise known as GBI, also called monthly checks, specifically focused on the low income. All right, so now this is actually very interesting because guaranteed basic income, as of not that many years ago, like 2-3 years ago, was not even really a big thing across the entire United States. However, it all started in late 2019 when this whole guaranteed basic income thing was brought to light in the United States, when the first guaranteed basic income program in the United States started in Stockton, California. Well, that was it, and the rest is now history, as these programs are popping up all across the country. There are over 60 of these programs all across the country right now. Well, I want to talk about those a little bit, but I also want to show some of the differentiating factors between guaranteed basic income and monthly checks, as well as universal basic income, otherwise known as UBI. There's some very big differences between guaranteed basic income and universal basic income, and what all of this means. Now, I can tell you this much. These payments, as in guaranteed basic income, already have a ton of support across the entire country. In fact, like I just said, there are over 60 of these guaranteed basic income programs right now in place across the entire United States, and they continue to see time and time again, every time that these programs are started up, they continue to see, all the research shows, hey, wow, these programs actually gave the money to the low income and fixed income, and they lifted tons and tons of people up, and all the people receiving these payments are living a much better life as a result of that. We can see all these studies. In fact, over the last couple of years here, I've been talking about a lot of these different studies, and I've been bringing them to you as they've been hitting the wire, because I continue to find them to be very interesting. And honestly, it is just showing the power behind a few $100s every single month for the people who really need it, and how life-changing it is for those people. So we can talk about all that here in just a minute as well. However, let's quickly talk about this much as well. Let's quickly talk about guaranteed basic income versus universal basic income. Big, big difference. In fact, I talked recently in a dedicated video about universal basic income. So let me briefly hit on the differences here. Universal basic income is literally sending out an ongoing monthly check to everybody. It could be somebody with zero income. It could be somebody living on a fixed income. It could be somebody earning $50,000 a year. It could be somebody earning $5 million a year. It doesn't matter. Universal basic income is all encompassing. Every single person gets a check. Does that make sense? Well, there's a lot of people out there that say, yes, it makes sense, and universal basic income is the way to go. However, here's what happens. When you give everybody a check, it just lifts everybody up to this basically the same level, just with a little bit more money in your pocket. So it doesn't really work when it comes down to it. Yes, you're getting money into the pockets of the people, but all it's doing is it's lifting everybody up, and then everybody's at the same level, because the person having no income or, $5,000 a year of income is now lifted up just one more $1,000 in their pocket, and same goes for the person earning $100,000 a year. One more $1,000 in their pocket. Just kind of see what I'm saying here? So basically just lifts everybody. It doesn't really achieve the objective that we're looking for here. However, this is when we can bring in guaranteed basic income, and this is the major difference between guaranteed basic income versus universal basic income, and this is guaranteed basic income is highly focused checks on low-income groups, okay? So across the entire country with all these guaranteed basic income programs that are in place, they're all focused on different groups, all of which are low income. Let me give you a couple of quick examples that we've all experienced as far as guaranteed basic income. The 3 stimulus checks that we received in early 2020, late 2020, and early 2021 were essentially a form of guaranteed basic income. Now, these programs were very widespread. They did encompass a huge percentage of the population, which generally the checks wouldn't probably not include that many people, but this would be a form of guaranteed basic income, even though it was just a one-time payment that went out. It's kind of the same form, but just in a one-check payment type of system, okay? So basically what lawmakers in Congress did is they determined basically anybody earning under a certain threshold would be getting a stimulus check. Remember that? And that's what happened. So those checks went out to about 85% of the population. However, now generally it would never go out to usually 85% of the population. It'd usually be a much smaller number than that. But again, that's just kind of illustrating the kind of the example that I wanted to give. Another great example would be the advanced child tax credit payments in late 2021. In fact, the second half of 2021, that was a perfect example of a guaranteed basic income program. It's exactly how guaranteed basic income works, okay? Basically, if your income is below a certain level, and if you fall within the parameters of being eligible, there you go. You get a monthly check for an ongoing period of time, which in that case was 6 months. So again, another perfect example of a guaranteed basic income program. However, let me lay out why these are very important and where this $500 up to $1,200 is coming from on an ongoing monthly basis, because these are the dollar amounts that already have a lot of traction out there right now. So that's what I want to talk about really quickly right now as well. All right, so first off, guaranteed basic income, we know works. We've seen all the reports, right? From the stimulus checks, from the child tax credit payments, from all the programs going on across the country, we know they work. The report after report after report shows that these ongoing monthly payments lift people up that need the money, and it really changes lives for a lot of people in a big way. And honestly, the money doesn't even need to be all that much. $400, $500, $1,000 a month, that's all it really takes for the vast majority of people to really change their lives in a huge, huge way to get all the necessities that you need, food on the table, shelter, clothing, utilities paid, all the stuff like that. Like I said, $500 changes lives in a huge way. And again, I've talked about that in a lot of different reports, right? Well, a lot of these guaranteed basic income programs going on around the country right now are about $500. Now, generally, these programs usually are about $500. In some instances, there may be a little bit more, but I would say the vast majority of these programs are $500 every single month, usually for a year. In some instances, 2 or even 3 years, where these ongoing checks go out to those people who are qualified in specific areas. Now, get this. In Congress, there's also a handful of lawmakers who are in support of starting up a nationwide program to send out $1,200 checks on an ongoing monthly basis every single month for the low income and people that have an income under certain thresholds, which, by the way, the threshold that they've put in place that they've determined as low income is $75,000 a year. Now, again, I've mentioned this before in other videos. Is $75,000 a year really low income? Again, everybody has their own opinion, but I'm going to go ahead and say no, okay? If somebody was earning $75,000 a year, do you really feel like you're low income? I mean, yeah, everybody has their own, perspective, and everybody has their own, situations and everything like that, but I don't really determine $75,000 a year as low income, okay? That's just my opinion. But again, I'd love to hear from you down below. Do you think $75,000 a year is low income? If that's the case, if you all of a sudden took if you all of a sudden getting $75,000 worth of checks every single year, would you feel low income? I mean, let's just be real for a second, right? Oh, by the way, that's as an individual. By the way, they also determined low income as a married couple, $150,000 a year. That's not low income. I'm sorry. $150,000 a year for a married couple is not low income, okay? The average household income in this country right now is like $69,000. So that's like almost double low income of what they're determined, 150 a year as a married couple, that's like double the national household average. So yeah, I don't really think so. But anyway, that's just what they're determining it. However, I do want to talk about the details of this one really quickly as well, because we do have some lawmakers currently in Congress right here, right now, who have floated the ideas and the plans of distributing an ongoing monthly check, otherwise known as guaranteed basic income, indefinitely, as in for years, if essentially forever, for the low income and those individuals with an income under $75,000 or $150,000 as a married couple. Now, this again would be a perfect example of a guaranteed basic income program administered by the federal government, as in the IRS, the Treasury. They send out these ongoing monthly payments on an ongoing basis. Now, again, to be totally fair, this is not passed. It is something that Congress has floated. It is a bill that some lawmakers have considered, and it's things that they have talked about, as in, let's get to the way that we can start sending out ongoing monthly checks in the amount of $1,200 every single month for the low-income individuals. Again, $75,000 as an individual, $150,000 as a married couple. So again, my point behind all of this is we're already seeing tons of these guaranteed basic income programs popping up all across the country. They're very popular. All the reports, all the surveys, all the studies have continuously shown that these reports change lives in a huge way, and they work, right? One of the huge programs going on right now, 5,000 people in Chicago alone are getting $500 ongoing checks. That's one of the biggest ones in the country. There's also some really big ones in LA County. There's some big ones over there in California as well. There's some big guaranteed basic income programs going on across the country that are including thousands and thousands of people in different programs. A lot of people across the entire country are getting these ongoing checks. So, long story short, when it comes down to it, I've said this before, it's realistically only a matter of time. There's a lot of high-profile people. There's a lot of different calls out there right now suggesting it's only a matter of time until guaranteed basic income is distributed on an ongoing monthly basis across the entire nation, distributed by the federal government, okay? That'd be pretty amazing, right? So that's what it really comes down to with all these different programs that are out there right now. Now, again, when I said at the beginning of the video, the best of all the worlds, why is a guaranteed basic income program the best of all the worlds? Well, here's why. Because guaranteed basic income, these ongoing monthly checks, generally are not counted as income, generally they are not taxable, and generally they do not offset other benefits. So when you get your annual cost of living adjustment from Social Security, you know what happens. It affects your SNAP benefits, it affects your utility assistance, it affects your housing assistance, it affects all kinds of other things because now your income has gone up. However, what if you were getting an ongoing monthly check of, say, $500, $1,200, something like that, and it didn't offset your other monthly benefits? It didn't offset or affect your utility assistance. It didn't offset or affect your housing assistance. Be pretty amazing, right? It would just be straight up cash that you could use for whatever you want. Food, groceries, to buy a new car, to pay for utilities, to do whatever you want, maybe a little bit of entertainment, literally doesn't matter. It is a no strings attached payment, and they don't track it in most cases. They, just say, here's some money, do whatever you got to do for it or with it, right? And again, it's specific to everybody's situation. So anyway, guaranteed basic income, in a nutshell, I think is the saying, right? So anyway, I want to break this down for you because there's a huge difference between universal basic income and guaranteed basic income. And in my honest opinion, guaranteed basic income is where it's at. Universal basic income, it's a nice little theory, but at the end of the day, it's not really going to work because it lifts everybody by giving everybody a check. Not everybody needs a check. Everybody will take a check, but everybody doesn't need a check. Huge difference between need and want, right? Need is, need is very important, whereas want is, I'll take it, but I don't need it, right? So big difference there. That's why guaranteed basic income works. Universal basic income, great concept, but probably not the solution. Anyway, I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. Please leave your comments, your questions, and your feedback down below. I do my best to read as many as I possibly can and, of course, respond to as many as possible as well. Otherwise, if I see the same questions coming up time and time again, I'll come back and make a dedicated video. So again, until next time, please have a nice day. Enjoy. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later in the